If you're an avid user of the internet, you're bound to have heard about the dark web. A secret, or rather uncensored and unfiltered layer of the internet where your fucking PC gets corrupted and the fucking skeleton from the wind comes out of your PC and fucking kills you and stuff. No, but, in all seriousness, the sheer virality of the dark web and the heaps of corny dark web true story creepypasta videos have really made it seem like less of a genuinely interesting topic based in reality and more of just a spooky urban legend that's used to get clicks off of little kids. But let me tell you something right now. The dark or deep web or onion browser or whatever you want to call it, it's all real. It's all easily accessible, and it is far, far scarier than you think. Not because of scary internet boogeymen, but rather because of things like the topic of today's video, that being Shiloh WWE and the Shoeman. The first video in this story, recorded by Shiloh Hill, a WWE wrestler and the person experiencing all of these events, shows him scrolling through an obscure dark web page featuring an assortment of extremely worn down shoes, displaying a name, an age, and the size of the shoe, with said shoes having varying levels of bodily fluids covering them. He goes on in the next video to show what this site is called, that being the Shoeman, Keeper of Souls. Ha! Like souls, but it's souls! Very clever. He goes on to show just how pricey these shoes are, ranging from a couple hundred to several $100s. Shiloh, deciding to investigate further, finds a pair of boots that are his size, titled Waylon, which so happened to be the bloodiest of the bunch. Now, what was really interesting to me and made this seem all the more realistic is the payment method in which Shiloh uses to acquire these boots, that being cryptocurrency. For those who don't know, which I doubt is many of you, but it's still worth saying, cryptocurrency is an entirely anonymous form of payment, making it the premier choice of payment on less than legal dark websites. If I saw Shiloh pull up some PayPal window to pay for these boots, I'd probably question it, but seeing this, it really affirms me that this could possibly be real. Shiloh points out something out of the ordinary, however, that being that the site asks for his name and date of birth prior to paying, on top of a window stating rental period, to which Shiloh inputs 1 year. He successfully purchases the boots, with the Waylon boots listing vanishing from the site, with Shiloh stating it's a good sign, because it basically means he didn't get scammed. In the next video, he shows us that the boots have successfully shipped, and in the video after that, we watch him unbox the package. He explains that the package was shipped to his P.O. box so as not to give a dark website his own address. He brings the package home, opens it up, and lo and behold, the Waylon 29s, just as they appeared on the website. He fiddles around with the boots for a bit before turning one of them upside down, with the VHS tape falling out of the boot. In the video following this, Shiloh decides to test the boots with hydrogen peroxide.
And when I dab some on the clean parts of the sole, nothing really happens. But when I dab it on the more suspicious parts, it does foam up.
Now, as unsettling as this may be, Shiloh makes a point to say that hydrogen peroxide isn't always 100% accurate, so he'll be testing the boots with luminol, a chemical used in forensics that glows blue when it comes into contact with certain oxidizing agents. The specific one we're looking for being hemoglobin, the major protein found in red blood cells. So hopefully at the very least the blood is fake on these boots and our boy Shiloh isn't really in any true danger.
Go.
Wow. Okay. Fuck.
Alright, look, I just want to state how much this actually freaked me out. I don't typically get very scared when I work on my videos, but this is something that actually sent chills down my spine. That is literally another human being's blood on those boots. The hydrogen peroxide reacted to it, the luminol did too. If we're to believe that this is actually real, then Shiloh is in genuine danger. However, other than Shiloh's issues and his experiences that we've been following, the history of the Shoeman and his catalog of stained footwear are still a mystery to us. So perhaps in the coming videos we can get an idea of the true scope of this operation. In order to see what was on the VHS from earlier, Shiloh buys a VCR to watch the tape. and I'll just let the results speak for themselves.
Okay, this is an update on the Dark Web shoes. I got a VCR, and I'm playing the tape. It's a little bit over an hour long, and it is very bizarre. I'll show you guys the first couple seconds of it.
Essentially, the tape is a collage of creepy old movie clips spliced together in reverse, along with flashing lights and text, along with occasional slots with people's names and ages on them, which show people harming others in the boots. Some of the submissions are also labeled as rejected, which are the names that appear on the Shoeman site. Before, I thought that the Shoeman was some kind of serial killer who went around taking the shoes of his victims. But now we know there's a deeper story to this. Those who purchase the shoes are required to submit a tape of them harming another while wearing the shoes before their rental period is over. And if they fail to meet the standards of the Shoeman in that submission, or their rental period expires before they submit something, the Shoeman takes the shoes back. In the following video, Shiloh decides to take apart the heel of the boot, finding what I assume to be a tracking device. Obviously, at this point, it's safe to assume that the Shoeman has Shiloh's current location, despite his efforts to mask his address. The video after this shows that the Shoeman site has been taken down, likely due to its increased publicity and traffic thanks to Shiloh. Shiloh has now given the Shoeman a motive as well as the means to take back his boots personally. Shiloh then decides to take the SIM card found in the tracker out and insert it into a burner phone. This burner and its card are very strange, however. The provider changes once from T-Mobile to AT&T, and the location or IP of the device is constantly changing every time Shiloh goes to a different site on the phone's browser. Outside of the strange nature of the SIM card, the tracker is still yet to be investigated, so Shiloh orders a USB to serial converter to attach to the pins on the board and see if he can gather any info from the tracker. Shiloh is then able to get into the GPS tracker and look at the code it's running, seeing that the GPS tracker is actively sending his location to a server. However, since the SIM card is data only and doesn't have SMS according to Shiloh, the text message fails and an error message pops up displaying the phone number and the GPS data that it was meant to be sent to. Shiloh then decides to call that number and confront what is presumed to be the Shoeman over the phone.
I ordered some boots off the dark web, and they had this little GPS tracker in them. I figured out that the tracker was trying to send my location to a phone number, and so today on my live stream, I called it.
I know who you are. I know what you did. And if you found this number,
Sounds hella
then I'm coming for you.
seductive.
The price must be paid.
So I sent this one back. Oh, I'm coming for you. I know who you are and what you did, and I'm gonna pay that price.
Now, to be honest, this whole voicemail with the Shoeman kind of made me question the validity of this story, because what kind of dark web criminal does some corny shit like that, right? However, there seems to be more to this voicemail than meets the eye. In the following videos, Shiloh calls the quote-unquote Shoeman number yet again, but is met with a different voicemail.
Not meant for you. I need to explain. I've been trying to message you. I can't see the number you called from. Text me. At the tone.
Shiloh then texts the Shoeman, and the response reads, "Sorry for the delay, couldn't get a signal for a few days. Look, I've seen your videos, I know who you are. I know you think you know who I am, but you have it backwards. The tracker is mine, I was just trying to see where they went, but he never even put them on. I can't say too much on here, but I'm on your side. I don't want you to do what I did. More are on the way. Do not trust the Shoeman." What we can gather from this is that, rather obviously, there was a misunderstanding. The previous owner of the Wayland boots implanted a GPS tracker in them in an effort to pinpoint the location of the Shoeman and get retribution for his actions. For what reason or what relation the original owner has to the Shoeman isn't yet known. Shiloh is now in contact with this person hunting down the Shoeman and awaiting a response. However, Shiloh makes a good point and says he doesn't know if he can trust him, because it could likely be the Shoeman, a wolf in sheep's clothing. In a following video, Shiloh states that the boot's GPS tracker was activated by them being worn, which is why the GPS tracker didn't work on the Shoeman but did work on Shiloh, since the Shoeman likely didn't wear the boots, leading to this whole misunderstanding. Shiloh receives another text from the previous owner who goes by the name Dante. Dante goes on to explain he missed his submission allotment on the tape, yet it was still approved. Dante also says, "I assume he's told you the rules by now," yet Shiloh, at least to our knowledge, has not yet received any rules from the Shoeman. Following that video, Shiloh unexpectedly receives a package in his P.O. box, the contents of which are extremely disturbing. If you've made it this far, you probably don't need this warning, but if the sight of blood makes you easily squeamish, probably skip ahead to this timestamp. Shiloh opens the box without gloves to find a pair of boots damp with fresh blood. Upon further inspection of the boots, there is another VHS tape, but possibly even more disturbing is the contents contained within the other boot. A phone. One very similar to the burner Shiloh uses. Upon opening up the phone and going into contacts, there is a number called A. When Shiloh calls this number on this new phone shipped to him with these freshly quote-unquote used boots, his own burner phone begins to ring. He then goes to show the message app on this new burner, confirming that this is in fact Dante's burner phone, which has now somehow ended up in Shiloh's possession.
What's up, guys? So I've been getting a lot of requests for updates on the dark web shoe situation. I'm really sorry, but right now I don't think I can post anything about it. I don't think I can even really explain why I can't post anything about it. I'm still waiting to hear back about that. I promise you, it's a good reason, and if you knew why, you would understand. But for now, you just gotta trust me. I'll post something as soon as I can.
Look, I'm going to try and make sense of this using my ARG brain, and I'm just providing my own theory as to what is going on here. I believe the Shoeman to be some kind of shut-away, dark web using lunatic who profits off the violence and sadistic harm caused to other people by renting out these battered shoes for people to wear while committing acts of violence. Shiloh was piecing everything together, but he wasn't entirely invested with the mystery, as I'd imagine he's busy with other things. But as time passed, this mystery slowly started to affect him more and more as it began becoming more dangerous every day. With Dante coming into the mix and revealing his desire for revenge or justice against the Shoeman, he publicly outed himself to the world by giving his name and motivation to Shiloh, likely not realizing that the Shoeman had been watching Shiloh's videos as well, which it's safe to assume he was. Shiloh being sent the freshly used shoes as well as Dante's burner along with the tape, which we still don't know the contents of, was likely a threat from the Shoeman. Especially considering the final video, it is safe to assume Shiloh went to the authorities to resolve this situation, and there is likely an active investigation occurring regarding the Shoeman and his violent enterprise.